Good morning. It's Saturday, November the 8th, 2025. And the Lord awakened me really early in the morning to pray for the Philippines, for the survivors of being kidnapped by Hamas 3 years ago, everyone that's home. And I'm just on here to remind us of what's truly important and what real suffering looks like. Most of you who will see this did not go through the Holocaust. None of us were slaves on plantations here in the United States. Most of us have not been trafficked. Most of us have not suffered religious persecution in another country. We have not had our Bibles taken away. We have not been imprisoned, raped, tortured because of our faith. We have not lived through horrendous wars or in areas where there's constant bombings and threats of bombings. We really have not suffered. Not really. And even though the past 6 months have been very difficult for me in a sense, it's also been liberating and humbling just to spend time with the Lord and just truly rely on Him. But I'm on here to ask you to please pray for the survivors of the Hamas kidnappings and all the things that happened on October 7th, 3 years ago. Because the remaining hostages that were alive, they're all home now, and they're all trying to heal. And one young man in particular, Ram Brovlovsky, I think I pronounced that correctly, suffered horrendous beatings and sexual violence. And I know what that feels like as a woman. I can't imagine what that feels like as a man, to have other men violate you in a sexual way. You know, the stories are still coming out, what all these people endured. I know that many or most or all of the women were raped. How do you recover from that? How do you recover from things like being trafficked? How do you recover just from horrific, inhumane circumstances? And as cliche as it sounds, part of that answer is prayer and surrounding yourself with positive people who can pour into you and love you without condition, without judgment, without strings. So I'm praying for all these young people who are home now, who are trying to have a new life, a new normal after what they've been through, and just try to get back to normal things like eating full meals 3 times a day, being able to bathe, being able to communicate with other people, because most, if not all of them, were isolated. They weren't talking to anybody. I want you to really take note of your lives. And have you really suffered? Or are you just being emotional, oversensitive, selfish, prideful? Because we get upset over things like Starbucks, Minuti's, all these coffee places, they're out of our particular flavor or drink for that day. We're upset because the person in front of us isn't driving fast enough. We're upset because the grocery store changed all the aisles and now we can't find things. Or we're upset because the store is out of whatever it is that we wanted to buy. Or our favorite restaurant changed the menu. Or somebody didn't compliment us because we lost some weight and and they didn't notice, they didn't say anything. We're so self-centered. We can be so selfish, so prideful. And these things are minor things in the grand scheme of life. What matters is lost souls being saved, drawing people to Jesus, loving on people where they are, as they are. If you are one of these people who is upset about every little thing, who's offended by every little thing, please pray about that. Because I guarantee you the Holy Spirit will show you that you really have nothing to complain about and you have a whole lot to be grateful for. So as you can tell, I'm in a little teeny tiny micro studio and it has everything I need. It has a really huge TV with free cable. I've got free Wi-Fi. This is the tiniest kitchen I've ever had, but I have more storage than I've had in a long time. I have a bed. I have a really nice bathroom. I really can't complain. I even have a landline. So if we're under cyber attack or something, I'm good because I have a landline. You know, it's about perspective. God will show you what you really need and what you can do without. And when you put other things before Him, He will remove those idols. He'll give you a chance to remove them yourselves. But if you don't remove them, then He'll remove them for you. Now, I've been praying for about 5 years now. And God has been showing me for about 5 years now that He was going to put me in a really teeny tiny space, or even in my car, and here it is. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I'm good. I'm grateful because somebody is sleeping under a bridge or in their car. Somebody doesn't have any family members alive who love them. I'm in a new city all by myself. I don't have any friends here. I don't know my neighbors. I'm all on my own. It's just me and Jesus. My children are in two different cities. Their dad's in another city, like we're all separated. My sisters are in Indiana and Illinois. My brother's in Kentucky. The rest of my family is in Ohio and Florida, mostly. And so I'm literally by myself. And it's okay because I have Jesus. And I really want you guys to understand that you're okay if you have Jesus. Even if your mom and dad have passed on, your husband or your wife has left you, you have prodigal children who don't talk to you anymore, you can always talk to the Father. And there's always something to be grateful for. You really have nothing to complain about. So all of the victimization, I'm a victim, having a pity party because people don't like your post, they didn't comment on your post, or they didn't comment the way you wanted them to, all of that is foolishness. It really, really is. And I'm not telling you anything that I haven't struggled with myself. You know, when I was younger, we all go through things, we grow, we learn, we develop, we change, we transform. I'm not here to fuss at you. I'm here to help you as an older adult who has been through some things. And I'm telling you, the victim pity party game needs to stop because it's really manipulative for most of you. You are manipulating people into doing things for you or saying what you want to hear. You know, manipulation is as the sin of witchcraft. Be careful with that. Be careful with always being offended by what people say or even what they don't say or do. Why is it that you need so much attention? Why is it that you need accolades and praise all the time? Now, maybe your love language is words. That's my love language. So words hurt me more than anything else. But I also know who I answer to. I answer to God. And what I answer to and what I believe I am is what He says about me in His Word and to me in prayer through the power of the Holy Spirit. So men and women alike, but especially women, just because somebody's not your best friend, they're not saying I love you all the time, they don't want to hug you. A lot of people don't like hugs. I don't like hugs. If I initiate a hug, then either I know you needed one or I'm extremely comfortable with you. Otherwise, you don't hardly ever see me initiate a hug. I'm just not a hugger. I don't like it. I don't like being touched. So Try to understand where people are coming from and stop being so offended and so sensitive about everything. Nobody has to like you. That's the truth of the matter. Nobody has to agree with you. It's okay if they don't. Maybe they don't want your opinion. A lot of people love to interject their thoughts and ideas, and some people just don't want to hear it because they just don't care and they didn't ask you. Please be aware in these last days where everybody is hyper vigilant and on alert and a little anxious and all the things. I just watched some crazy road rage this morning, early in the wee hours of the morning, dark outside, fog, couldn't see 10 feet in front of me. I really thought somebody was going to pull a gun. And I was praying like, Lord, please make them stop. Please, 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 please make them stop. Because it got bad. And it was just because one driver blew their horn at the other driver. That's all it took for things to escalate literally within seconds. Guys, we have to be smarter than this. You need to make it home to your husband or wife and your children. You need to make it home. It is not that serious. I promise you, it is not that serious. Unless somebody's in labor and you're, driving like a bat out of hell to get to the hospital, or somebody's got a gunshot wound and you're driving like a bat out of hell to get to the hospital. Other than things like that, you will get where you need to be when you're supposed to be there. And if you didn't leave early enough, honey, that's on you, not on all the other drivers on the road. We really need to stop and think how we're treating people, how we're acting, how we're talking about people, how we're responding to things, how we're just being so selfish. So selfish. And that's all it is. Nobody has to like your husband. Nobody has to like your children. They don't, and you can't make them. And it's okay if they don't. Now, what they shouldn't do is disrespect them, but they don't have to like them. It would be nice if they did, but they don't have to. They really don't. They don't have to agree with you. Can we please get back to what's important, which is spreading the gospel so that people aren't lost? There are a lot of lost souls out there. And that's where the focus needs to be. It needs to be on Jesus. It needs to be on Yeshua. It needs to be on Yahweh. It needs to be on the things of the kingdom. And I'm not saying don't get your education so you can further your career. Christians are needed in every type of business, including the arts. I know a lot of people don't like that, or they don't agree with that, that you shouldn't be an actress or a singer or whatever. We need Christians everywhere because there are lost souls everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So let's not be so heavily minded that we're no earthly good. That's what we used to say back in the day. And it's so true. We can be so harsh on the world, the people who are lost, who don't know any better. And we can be so lenient with the people who should know better. And we overlook things in the church. We overlook things in our own family. We overlook things in our own churches when we shouldn't. And we should say something. I posted the other day about how that we're politically correct, and that has nothing to do with biblical anything. It really doesn't. And you could argue with me about verses in the tongue and being nice and all of this, but the bottom line is, how are you helping people by allowing them to continue to do the wrong thing? And you see that they're doing the wrong thing, and the Holy Spirit has told you to intervene. Now, it's different if He didn't tell you to, But if he did, and you're just trying to be politically correct, you're wrong. Because he told you to confront your brother or sister in love, not to condemn, but to plant a seed. Because it is the Holy Spirit who convicts, it is Satan who condemns. We have to listen to the Holy Spirit. We have to hold our brothers and sisters accountable. We have to love them through the tough things. And sometimes we have to give them tough love. And we have to tell them things that they don't want to hear. There's a time and a place for that. There's a time and a place for righteous judgment. And there's a time and a place to just sit and listen and be present like a chaplain. And there's a time to intervene. And those of you who are parents, you understand what I'm saying. There are times when you will let your kids fall. If you're a good parent, you will let them fall and you will let them learn their lesson. And then there are other times where you know you have to step in. And it's the same thing as believers. There are times when you need to step in, and there are times when you need to step back. Even Jesus told his disciples that if you go into a house or into a town or a city and you try to bring them the gospel and they just don't want to listen, don't get offended, don't get mad, keep it moving. And we should be the same way. Please think about what I've said this morning. And please pray for all those survivors who endured just inhumane, abusive situations under Hamas, who were kidnapped from the concert 3 years ago. And we lift up all of the Middle East. We lift up everybody in the Middle East, every country, all of them. Yes, I'm pro-Israel, but I'm pro-humanity. So I pray for everybody. I pray for Lebanon, the Palestinians, the people in the Gaza Strip. We need to pray for everyone. We need to pray for the people in Sudan and the Congo and Nigeria who are suffering religious persecution. These terrorist extremists are going into churches and villages and just slaughtering people, burning houses, beheading people. And the major news outlets, they don't want to, emphasize that, but it's been going on for a while and it's getting worse. And even President Trump stepped in to say something to the Nigerian government about how that he's going to send troops if they don't, help their people. And this is not a political message. I'm just giving you facts. We need to pray for all these people in Asia who have underground churches because it's illegal for them to be a Christian and to have a Bible. You see, you really don't have anything to complain about. You're not dealing with that. Maybe your house isn't as big as you want it to be. Maybe it's even close to foreclosure. But you know what? You're not in prison because you believe. Nobody's kidnapped and raped you because you're the wrong culture. And now you're shackled to a closet somewhere. I know I'm being really graphic today, but this is what the Lord was showing me this morning, that we really are spoiled, blessed, whatever word you want to use. We have more to be grateful for than we have to complain about. So I pray that you just heed these words of warning, because there will come a day here in America where it will be illegal to be a Christian, where you could be rounded up, sent to jail or prison. It's very possible. You see what's happening in New York City. What a mess. Pray for New York City. It's not good. I posted about that the other day too, what I saw. Not good. Not good at all. Mm-mm. Lord, help them. Please pray for the Philippines. They've been hit pretty hard and they are about to probably get hit again this week with another tsunami. It's just really, really bad. All right. I think that's it for today. I need to start my work day. I pray that you have a blessed weekend. Bye, y'all.